My bones ached as I pulled into the familiar driveway of my childhood home, the gravel crunching under my tires like broken promises. The weight behind my eyes felt heavier than the briefcase sitting in my passenger seat, the one containing documents that would change everything. I'd been working 18-hour days for months, building something my family couldn't even begin to comprehend. Please tell us in the comment where you are watching from. We want to know how far our story can travel. Please comment. The porch light flickered, casting shadows that danced across my mother's prized rose bushes. Those same roses I'd helped plant as a child, back when I believed family meant unconditional love and support. Now at 28 I knew better. My phone buzzed with another text from my sister Keisha. Mom's making your favorite mac and cheese. Don't be late, Erica. You know how she gets. I laughed bitterly. Favorite? Nothing about tonight would be favorable. I could already picture the scene. My older brother Austin boasting about his latest promotion, my younger sister Tiffany showing off her engagement ring, and me, Erica Williams, the perpetual disappointment. The front door opened before I could knock. Mama stood there, her apron dusted with flour, that familiar look of concern mixed with frustration etched across her weathered face. You look tired, baby, she said, pulling me into a hug that smelled like vanilla and disappointment. I'm fine, Mama. The lie slipped out easily. I'd perfected it over years of family gatherings where I pretended my life wasn't falling apart. Or so they thought. Come on in. Everyone's already at the table. Everyone. The word hit like a slap. They'd started without me again. The dining room buzzed with conversation that died the moment I walked in. 6 faces turned toward me, some with pity, others with barely concealed disdain. The mahogany table Daddy had built before he died was set with Mama's good china, the same pattern she'd used for every family gathering for the past 15 years. Look who finally showed up, Austin said, not looking up from cutting his steak. His wife Jennifer gave me a tight smile, the kind that never reached her eyes. Tiffany waved enthusiastically, her 3-carat diamond catching the chandelier light. Erica. I was just telling everyone about the wedding venue. It's going to cost more than some people make in a year. The jab wasn't subtle. It never was with Tiffany. Sit down, honey, Mama said, pulling out the chair at the foot of the table. The same spot I'd occupied since childhood. Furthest from the head where Daddy used to sit, now occupied by Austin as the eldest son and self-appointed family patriarch. Uncle Jerome and Aunt Claudette sat across from me, their expressions somewhere between pity and embarrassment. They'd been asking everyone except me how I was doing, as if I were some charity case they didn't want to address directly. So Erica, Jennifer began, her voice dripping with false sweetness, still working at that little startup? What do you call it again? I'm consulting now, I said quietly, serving myself a small portion of green beans. My stomach was in knots, but I needed to eat something. Austin snorted. Consulting. That's what unemployed people call themselves these days. The table erupted in uncomfortable laughter. Mama shot Austin a warning look, but her heart wasn't in it. Leave your sister alone, she said half-heartedly. Actually, I think it's brave, Tiffany said, though her tone suggested otherwise. Not everyone can handle a real career with benefits and security. Some people are just built different. Built different. The phrase hung in the air like smoke from a house fire. Uncle Jerome cleared his throat. Well, we all have our paths. Some folks are late bloomers. He meant it kindly, but it stung worse than Austin's direct attacks. Remember when Erica wanted to be a lawyer? Aunt Claudette chimed in. Then it was medicine, then business school. Never could stick to anything. My jaw clenched. They had no idea about the nights I'd spent studying, working 3 jobs to pay for school while they all had family help. They didn't know about the student loans that had buried me or the sacrifices I'd made. That's not exactly, I started. What happened to that job at the insurance company? Austin interrupted. Mom said you quit after 6 months. I didn't quit. They laid off half the department. Right? He said, exchanging a look with Jennifer. It's always something, isn't it? Mama set down her fork with more force than necessary. Austin, that's enough. I'm just saying, Mom. We're all worried about Erica. She's 30 soon, no stable job, no relationship, no savings. What's the plan? 28, I wanted to correct, but what was the point? In Austin's world, anyone not following his exact blueprint was a failure. The plan, I said slowly, is working better than you think. Something in my voice made Tiffany look up from her phone. For a moment, the room went quiet except for the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. What's that supposed to mean? Austin asked, his attorney instincts kicking in. He'd always been good at cross-examination, even at family dinner. I took a sip of sweet tea, buying time. The documents in my briefcase seemed to burn hotter with each passing second. Then I told myself, very soon. Nothing. Just that you might be surprised by what I've been working on. Jennifer laughed, the sound sharp as breaking glass. Oh honey, we're all rooting for you. It's just that we've heard this before. Remember the photography business? The online boutique. The photography business had actually done well until a client stiffed me on a wedding payment and I couldn't afford my equipment insurance. The boutique failed when my business partner, someone I'd trusted, ran off with our startup capital. But explaining that would sound like more excuses. This is different, I said. Different how? Uncle Jerome asked gently. He'd always been the kindest of them, though his kindness often felt like pity. Mama reached across the table and patted my hand. Baby, we love you no matter what. You know that, right? Even if things don't work out again, you'll always have family. Even if things don't work out again. The words hit harder than Austin's insults. Your mama's right, Aunt Claudette said. Family is what matters. Money and success, that's all temporary. But blood is forever. Blood is forever. I almost laughed at the irony. These people who shared my blood had spent years making me feel like I was drowning while they watched from the shore. Speaking of family, Tiffany said brightly, I have an announcement. All eyes turned to Tiffany, who was practically glowing with excitement. She grabbed her fiancé Devon's hand and squeezed. Devon and I have been talking and we want to buy a house before the wedding. Something to start our life together properly. Approving murmurs went around the table. Mama actually clapped her hands together. That's wonderful, baby girl, she said. A house is an investment in your future. The thing is, Tiffany continued, we've been looking, but everything in our price range needs so much work. We want something move-in ready, you know? Something established. Austin leaned back in his chair. Real estate's hot right now. You'll need to move fast and offer above asking price. Actually, Devon said, speaking for the first time all evening, we found the perfect place. Right here in the neighborhood, just 3 blocks away. My fork paused halfway to my mouth. Something cold settled in my stomach. Which house? Mama asked. Tiffany's smile widened. The Hendersons' place. You know, the blue Victorian with the wraparound porch? It's been on the market for 2 weeks. I knew that house. I'd driven past it countless times since the for sale sign went up. It was beautiful. Exactly the kind of place I'd dreamed of owning someday. That's a gorgeous house, Jennifer said. But it must be expensive. That's the thing, Tiffany said, glancing around the table. We're a little short on the down payment. We were hoping the family might help us out. The request hung in the air like a challenge. Everyone looked at Austin, the family's financial success story. How much are we talking? He asked. 50,000. Uncle Jerome whistled low. That's a lot of money, sweetheart. I know it sounds like a lot, Tiffany said quickly, but think of it as an investment in the family. Devon has that promotion coming up and I'm getting my real estate license. We'll pay everyone back with interest. Austin nodded slowly. Jennifer and I could probably swing 20,000. As a loan, of course, with proper paperwork. I appreciate that, brother, Devon said. We'll take care of you. Mama wrung her hands. I wish I could help more, but you know my situation. Maybe 5,000 from my savings. Every little bit helps, Tiffany said, though I caught the flash of disappointment in her eyes. Uncle Jerome and Aunt Claudette exchanged glances. We could probably do 10,000, Jerome said. Times are tight, but family's family. All eyes turned to me. I could feel the expectation, the assumption that I'd contribute something, anything to prove I cared about family. Even if it was just a few $100s. Whatever scraps the family failure could manage. What about you, Erica? Tiffany asked sweetly. Even 1,000 would help. I set down my fork carefully. The grandfather clock's ticking seemed louder now, marking time until everything changed. I'm not giving you money for the Henderson house, I said quietly. Tiffany's face fell. It's not giving, it's lending. With interest. I know what you meant. Austin shook his head. Typical. Family needs help and Erica finds an excuse. It's not an excuse, I said, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. I'm not giving you money because you can't buy that house. What do you mean we can't buy it? Devin asked, his voice sharp. I reached for my purse then stopped. Not yet. Let them dig deeper first. I mean exactly what I said. Austin slammed his hand on the table, making the glasses jump. This is unbelievable. Your sister asks for help with her future and you sit there being cryptic and selfish. Selfish. I repeated, the word tasting bitter. Yes, selfish, Jennifer added. Family helps family. That's what normal people do. Normal people. As if I were some aberration they had to tolerate. You know what's selfish? I said, standing up slowly. Calling someone a failure for years, then expecting them to bankroll your dreams. Mama gasped. Erica Williams, you sit down right now. Nobody called you a failure. Really? I turned to face them all. Because Austin just called me unemployed. Tiffany said some people are built different. Aunt Claudette said I can't stick to anything. What exactly would you call that? The room fell silent. Even the grandfather clock seemed to pause its relentless ticking. We're just concerned about you, Uncle Jerome said gently. You've had some setbacks. Setbacks? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Is that what we're calling it? Tiffany's eyes filled with tears. Erica, I don't understand why you're being so mean. I just wanted to buy a house. I thought you'd be happy for me. I am happy for you, I said. I'm just not going to help you buy a house that's already sold. Devin stood up abruptly. What are you talking about? We just put in an offer yesterday. And it was rejected this morning. The words hit like lightning. Everyone started talking at once, demanding to know how I knew, insisting I was lying, asking what I meant. I held up my hand for silence. It was rejected because someone else made a cash offer. $50,000 over asking price. No inspection, no financing contingency. Closed this afternoon. The color drained from Tiffany's face. That's impossible. Our realtor said we were the highest offer. Your realtor was wrong. Austin pulled out his phone. I'm calling David Henderson right now. He would have told us if someone outbid us. Go ahead, I said calmly. Call him. The silence stretched as Austin dialed. We could all hear the phone ringing through the speaker, then David Henderson's tired voice answering. Austin, I was going to call you in the morning. David, what's this about our offer being rejected? Eric is here saying someone bought your house today. A long pause. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Got a cash offer this morning that I couldn't refuse. 50 over asking, no conditions. The buyer's lawyer had everything ready to go. We closed at 2 o'clock. Jennifer grabbed Austin's arm. Who bought it? She demanded loudly enough for David to hear. Some investment company. ZW Holdings or something like that. Never heard of them, but their money was real. Austin looked at me, his face pale. ZW Holdings? I smiled for the first time all evening. Erica Williams Holdings. The phone clattered to the table as Austin's hand went limp. David's voice came through the speaker, confused and asking if anyone was still there. Mama's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. What does that mean? It means, I said, reaching into my purse and pulling out a thick envelope. I bought the house. This afternoon. The deed landed on the table with a soft thud, right next to Mama's good china. Chaos erupted around the dinner table. Everyone started shouting at once. Austin demanding to know where I got that kind of money, Tiffany crying that I'd ruined her life, Mama asking Jesus to help her understand what was happening. I remained standing, calm in the center of the storm I'd created. How is this possible? Uncle Jerome asked, his voice barely audible above the others. Erica, where did you get $300,000? Actually, it was $350, I corrected. The house was listed at $300, but I offered $50 over to make sure I got it. Austin shot to his feet. This is some kind of fraud. There's no way you have that kind of money. I'm calling the police. Call them, I said. Tell them your sister bought a house with legally earned money. See how far that gets you. Jennifer was frantically typing on her phone. ZW Holdings. It's a real company. Incorporated in Delaware 2 years ago. Revenue last year was. She looked up, her face white as bone. $2.3 million. The room went dead silent. Tiffany wiped her eyes. That can't be right. Erica works at some nobody startup. She doesn't even have a car payment. I have 3 cars, I said quietly. I just drive the Honda because it's practical. Aunt Claudette shook her head slowly. This doesn't make sense, baby. What kind of business makes that kind of money? I walked to the head of the table to Daddy's old seat where Austin had been sitting. He moved aside without thinking, muscle memory from childhood when I got serious about something. Remember that little consulting business you all made fun of? The one where I help companies optimize their operations and cut costs. Nods around the table. Turns out I'm really good at it. But we never see you working, Mama said weakly. You're always available for family things. You don't dress like a successful businesswoman. I laughed, and this time there was genuine humor in it. Mama, I work from home. My biggest client is a Fortune 500 company that pays me $50,000 a month to review their processes remotely. I've got 12 other clients paying anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 monthly. Austin sank back into his chair. That's impossible. You'd be making about $800,000 a year, yes. More some months when I take on special projects. The numbers hit them like physical blows. I watched their faces change as they did the math, as they realized exactly how wrong they'd been. The photography business failed because I was too busy with consulting to focus on it properly. The boutique failed because my partner was stealing money. Money I didn't even need by that point. I was just trying to help a friend achieve her dream. Tiffany looked up from her hands. Why didn't you tell us? Tell you what? That every time we get together, you all assume I'm broke? That you talk about me like I'm some charity case who needs saving. We were trying to help, Jennifer said defensively. Were you? I pulled my phone from my purse and opened my banking app, turning the screen toward them. Does this look like someone who needs help? The account balance was clearly visible. $847,382.47. And that was just my personal checking account. Uncle Jerome whistled low. Sweet Jesus. There's more, I said, putting the phone away. But I think you get the picture. Mama reached across the table, her hand shaking. Baby, why didn't you just tell us? Why let us worry about you? I looked at Mama, this woman who'd raised me with love but never really saw me. When would I have told you? Between Austin calling me unemployed and Tiffany asking for money? Between the lectures about my life choices and the suggestions that I move back home. We love you, Mama said, tears starting to flow. We just wanted what's best for you. No, I said firmly. You wanted me to fit into your idea of success. Austin's way, law school, corporate job, suburban house. Tiffany's way, find a man, get married, have babies. When I didn't follow those paths, I became the family failure. Austin rubbed his forehead. We didn't mean. Yes, you did. I walked back to my chair and sat down. Every family gathering for the past 5 years has been an intervention. Everyone trying to fix poor, broken Erica who can't get her life together. But you could have proved us wrong any time, Tiffany said, her voice small. Proved what wrong? That I'm successful? I shouldn't have to prove that to my family. You should have believed in me because you love me, not because of a bank balance. The room fell into uncomfortable silence. The weight of years of condescension and dismissal settled over them like a heavy blanket. There's something else, I said, reaching into my briefcase. This time I pulled out a much thicker folder. Something that affects all of you. What now? Austin asked warily. I spread the documents across the table, pushing aside dinner plates. Mama, you remember when you almost lost the house 3 years ago? When Daddy's medical bills and the mortgage got too much. Mama nodded, fresh tears streaming down her face. You remember who helped you? Mama's hand flew to her mouth. The anonymous benefactor. Someone paid off the entire mortgage. We never found out who. It was me. The words landed like thunderbolts. Austin grabbed the documents, scanning them frantically. This is a deed of trust, he said, his voice hoarse. The mortgage holder is ZW Holdings. I own this house, I said simply. Have for 3 years. I've been letting you live here rent-free because it's your home. Because I love you despite everything. Tiffany stood up abruptly, knocking over her chair. This is insane. Why would you do this to us? Do what? Save the family home? Keep Mama from being homeless? No. Tiffany screamed. Hide the truth. Make us look like fools. Let us worry about you while you're secretly rich. Austin was still reading the documents. Jesus Christ, Erica. You could have foreclosed on us anytime. You could have kicked Mom out. But I didn't, I said. And I never would. That's the difference between us. Mama was sobbing now, full body shakes that made her chair creak. Uncle Jerome had his arm around Aunt Claudette, who looked like she might faint. Why tell us now? Austin asked quietly. I stood up, gathering the documents. "'Cause I'm tired. Tired of being treated like a failure by people I've been supporting. Tired of being asked for money by people who think I don't have any. Tired of being the family disappointment when I'm the most successful person at this table." "You could have just told us," Jennifer started. "I tried," I said, cutting her off. "Remember last Christmas when I mentioned my business was doing well?" Austin laughed and said I was delusional. "Remember Easter when I offered to pay for Mama's roof repairs? Everyone said I was being grandiose and couldn't afford it." The memories hung in the air, sharp and painful. I walked to the front door, my family trailing behind me like ghosts. The evening air was cool against my skin, carrying the scent of Mama's roses and the promise of change. "Where are you going?" Mama asked, her voice broken. "Home," I said. "To my house. The one I bought today." "The Henderson place?" Tiffany whispered. "Pie Place now." I turned to face them one last time. "I'll be moving in this weekend. You're all welcome to visit when you're ready to see me as I really am." Austin stepped forward. "Erica, we can work this out. Family disagreements happen." "This wasn't a disagreement," I said. "This was years of disrespect. Years of assumptions. Years of treating me like I was broken instead of different." I got into my Honda, my practical paid-for Honda that I drove by choice, and rolled down the window. "The mortgage on this house is paid off," I said to Mama. "The deed is in your name, free and clear. That was always the plan." Mama collapsed against Austin, overwhelmed. "I love you all," I continued. "But I won't be the family failure anymore. When you're ready to know the real me, successful, independent, and tired of apologizing for it, you know where to find me." I drove away slowly, watching them in my rearview mirror. They stood clustered in the doorway, silhouetted against the warm light of the house I'd saved. 3 blocks later, I pulled into the driveway of the blue Victorian with the wraparound porch. My porch now. My sanctuary. As I sat in the car looking at my new home, my phone buzzed with text messages. Apologies, explanations, pleas for forgiveness. I turned off the phone. Tomorrow I'd start fresh. Tonight, for the first time in years, I was exactly where I belonged. Successful, independent, and finally free from the weight of their expectations. The porch light, my porch light, welcomed me home. Did I handle this like a boss, or did I let anger make the decision for them? I'm seeing both sides and need your perspective. Comment below with your take. And if you're here for more stories about people who refuse to be treated like garbage, make sure you're subscribed. Trust me, you'll want notifications on.